Welcome back to another episode of Frank's Unsolicited Advice. First off, I hope everybody had a great Christmas. I hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas and Christmas Eve with their family and friends and loved ones. And, just if you weren't around family and friends, I hope you still had a good one and spend it good. And it a lot of things was running through my mind. I was very, very emotional on Christmas Day. And it is because, as you get older, you kind of miss your family. You start missing the moments, the memories start coming up, and you're like, man, I want to be around that vibe, that whole scene. I want to be around family, and it got me thinking about this year. And then just to even further, how they say that creativity comes from within. It's just like to some people it comes in a form of like a spiritual sense, right? Or you just get this feeling. So I had intentions of talking completely about something else. I was going to talk about people being real and being honest and keeping it real and knowing the difference between a real person and a fake person. And I was just going to go into this whole thing about it. And during the introduction of the episode, as I was recording it, I mentioned how I saw a post on Facebook of a friend of mine that couldn't hug his wife and daughters for Christmas because I guess he's COVID-19 positive, so he's quarantining and didn't want to expose him to them. So, and it's they made the best out of it. He's on the other side of the screen and they're on the other side. They're wearing the same pajamas. He has a N95 mask. Is that it? On, but he's he made the best out of it. He adjusted, and that's what this whole year has been about. As we approach the last Sunday of the year, it's the last Sunday of the year. Come Friday, is it? We'll be in a whole new year. We new place, new time. Yep, come Friday. Thursday at midnight. We'll be the first on the Friday and we'll be 2021. So, this is the last Sunday as we get there. And to reflect back on the last year, it's been an adjustment period. It has been an adjustment. We went from celebrating birthdays together to doing virtually. We went from attending church in a brick and mortar building to virtual. We went from our kids going to school, having to buy a bunch of school clothes for the beginning of school year and to nothing because they're at home. They're not even going to school in some counties, I should say. Everything's virtual. Work, people lost work and started working remotely. A lot of businesses shut down their buildings because they figured why pay the overhead costs when I can save money? You could work from home. The money I'm gonna spend on a building, paying rent and electricity and water in order to maintain it, I can put into you getting a computer or providing a better system that you could use to work and still not have to come into work and make it more comfortable, especially with daycare centers closing down. People couldn't come into work. Obviously, some businesses were not affected like the military. We still came to work. We don't have that luxury or first responders and stuff like that. And, and that's the biggest, you got to give respect when respect is due. Our service members, our first responders, police officers, firefighters, everybody that had to still maintain because they're in a position where it's needed. You just can't say, I'm not going to come to work today. I'm going to arrest virtually. That's what I'm going to do. Hey, you. Put these handcuffs on virtually, and you're confined to your house. It's not gonna happen. So we had to still come to work and do what we had to do, but the adjustments was there. We went to from being able to go shopping wherever we want, attend amusement parks over the summer, do different things. We can't do them. We went from being able to travel wherever we want to travel to now being restricted to where we can travel. And taking vacation leave, like we call it, ain't even simple no more. If you're going out of 150 miles, where you going? Is that state red? It's not, waivers and just a lot of different adjustments that I know we saw in the military on my side of the house, where, we had sailors calling out of work, probably not even feeling sick, but because, sniffles, sore throat, whatever, you get 3 days off. Then these kids started getting tested for no reason just to get 14 days off. But that's part of the adjustment. And for me, it's been an adjustment. It has. I'm not used to, especially since I'm used to seeing my family at least once a year, my parents, My sister, my wife's had to make a trip to New York a few times by herself for our kids' braces, and that's when I would go and see my sister, spend the night at her house. When I came back to Virginia, going to Florida was probably something I want to do more of, especially like being a lot closer to New York. I can drive, and only made the trip once or twice since being back, and that's part of it. That's part of the adjustment, and sometimes reflecting back, you have to look at the positive and the negative, right? So first thing I want to talk about was adjusting. If in life you don't adjust, you stay where you're at, and everybody keeps progressing. It's called change. We went from living freely, in a sense, no restrictions, to not having restrictions. We went from living how we live to living like we saw in movies, and we're like, "Oh, that would never happen." We're in it now, and so many different thoughts on this vaccine, and can you wear a mask still? Do you have to? Do you not have to? How many rounds of it do you need? People are skeptic, or they're putting nano whatever inside your bodies. They're about to inject you with this different disease, that's gonna. So this vaccine is gonna help you with corona, but you can't have kids. It's like so many things. So you don't know what to believe. But anyways, there's adjustments. We went from doing whatever we wanted to now we can't always do whatever we want, and you just gotta adjust and change. Instead of dwelling on the fact that, hey, I can't go to Florida and see my parents, or I can't go to New York to see my sister and my aunts. Guess what? FaceTime, Zoom, Google Meet or whatever it is, or whatever. They got different Gmail stuff. There's so many ways that we can FaceTime and see our families that we shouldn't let the pandemic stop us from enjoying it. At least virtually, we can see them. And eventually, when things get better, we'll be able to be close again and see your family and friends and spend time and travel. But the point is that we shouldn't let one thing stop us from living. We should just adjust and change how we do things to accommodate what we want. I know many people during this time that's been quarantined at home have started doing different things. Arts and crafts, creating businesses from their home where they can make extra money. And that's what you got to do to beat this, is not allow it to beat us, not allow it to change us completely to where we don't enjoy anything of our life. So we need to adjust, right? We need to adjust in that aspect. And then we got to look at the positive and negative. I've always say that. I always say you got to find a positive and a negative. And people look at me like I'm crazy sometimes, like, oh, Frank, no, but it's true. You have to, because how else are you going to learn? So we need to stop looking at the fact that, hey, I couldn't go here and there, because guess what? I think I probably spend more time with my family now than I have in a long time, because there's the restrictions to what we can do. So we just can't get up and go do other things. We got to stay here. We got to deal with stuff together. Excuse me, I'm drinking my coffee. And it's allowed us, like, I know for me and my wife, pandemic wasn't, being quarantined and stuck together at home wasn't a bad thing. It was a good thing. I feel like it's brought us closer. I go stay on duty now, and I'm like, I don't even want to be. I want to be home with my wife. Well, before I looked forward to duty because it gave me a break from everybody in the house. I'm more involved at home because I'm here. When I get off work, I come straight home. And yeah, I have my distractions here. That between my podcast, me playing video games, football, then also my side business that I do, that it keeps me involved with different things. But I'm home more. Save more money. I ain't got to go nowhere. I can't spend it. And it brought me and my family closer, in my opinion. Me and my wife extremely close. And some people didn't have that. Some people said that the beginning was rough because they weren't around each other so much, and now they were. It's tested people's will, We got together for my father's 80th birthday still. It wasn't like we changed. It was virtually, but guess what? We were still together. We still saw him enjoy it, and that's part of it. Yeah, it wasn't the physical. I couldn't give him a hug, but I was able to see my dad enjoy his birthday, and that's what's most important. I think me and my sisters FaceTime more than we did before. We've communicated more, so it's brought some good things in. Less miles on my truck. You know, I don't go nowhere, so hey, I can't drive it. Now I probably fill up once or twice a month, which is dope. I have a truck; it's cheaper. But you know, it's just we have to stop living life with the down, letting the down stuff get to us, and not adjusting. Right? Make the best out of it. Um, we need to adjust. So that's why I labeled this episode adjustment. I said adjustment, and it's just adjusting to what life throws at us. All the curveballs, all the change ups, all the audibles at the line. We need to just keep adjusting and taking control and living the life that we need to live with the new situation that we're in. Hopefully, in the next year or so, we can be in a better place. And then this pandemic is over and coronavirus becomes like the flu and everything else. It's just, you know, another thing we can prepare for. And if not, then we humans, we're going to adjust. We're going to overcome it. We got to adapt and overcome it. Survival of the fittest. If we don't, then guess what? We'll die or we'll become non-existent. Also, you know, if you're religious, keep the faith. Take a time out to reflect on this year. And if you're not religious, still take a time to reflect on this year. Look at the things you've accomplished or didn't accomplish. Where are you at? What did you want to do? Are you where you need to be? Because, you know, at the end of the day, we just need to be grateful for what we have and continue to push forward. Adjust to the curveballs being thrown at us and not make excuses. And constantly keep the faith that it's always going to be better. It's going to get better and it's going to push through. Like I said, I wanted to talk about something totally different, but in my heart, this came to me. I hope you guys take away something from it. Whoever hears this, I hope you get whatever you need out of it. But reflect back on this is the last Sunday in 2020. A year that has cost lives, that's kept people away from their families, that have pushed us and tested us as humans, as a society, as a culture. And, you know, from what I can see and where I'm at, we've adjusted and we're pushing forward. And, you know, we saw a lot of stuff this year. You know, an ugly presidential race. I would say lack of professionalism there. You know, I don't know. Just so much stuff you can talk about 2020, and most of it is bad in a sense because of the pandemic. But I promise you, there's a good in everything. And if we just keep adjusting and pushing forward, 2021 is going to be better than 2020, and life is going to continue. So happy holidays. I wish everybody a good new year. I might record another episode before that. Maybe not. I don't know. But hey, thank you for supporting me, supporting my NFL edition one with me, Bree, and June. And just let's keep supporting each other and keep adjusting to life and keep pushing forward. This is Frank's Unsolicited Advice. Thanks.